That's the point I'm trying to make. I've spoken to Marty Causer about it. He says, I am correct on this. According to the Pennsylvania Constitution, no municipal ordinance can override a state ordinance or law, and no state law or ordinance can override a federal law. So this is why my next phone call is to Glenn Thompson. I just want you to work that, okay? Thank you.
I believe the House bill that everyone's referring to hasn't even made it out of committee yet.
Let's keep it there.
Don't even give him a minute. Don't give him a minute.
Just keep pushing.
Don't wait for it.
Sure, I'll take you.
Yeah.
We all know the government's gonna shut down right now. So how are they supposed to do all their duties that they need to get these licenses and do those studies and fulfill those ordinances?
Hopefully they'll get back to work.
I hope they don't get back to work. I hope something's fine.
Thank you.
Anyone else? Dave, you have something?
If you want to give me some time, I'll take it.
You got mine.
Basically, we're supposed to be taking the ordinance here, and we haven't really done that yet. So we've had some time to review it. I think it's pretty solid, and if the state allows it to stand up, it'll help the area out dramatically in dealing with this. I guess what do you want to call it? Project that's ended up coming. It's coming. I mean, there's too many large landowners, and they're going to be able to do what they want to do. So, appreciate you actually taking the time and making the effort to put an ordinance forward. Thanks.
I know I had to speak before, but I'd like to know what the people at the front table, what's your idea of this whole thing? I don't know where you live. I know some of you live around Smithport, and you will see me. So the people that own the land up there don't live anywhere near Smithport. They live in Vermont or New Hampshire, someplace. I just wondered what you all thought of looking up and seeing windmills on the tops of all these mountains around here. If you happen to come down here again. Well, some of you I know live here, but I don't know all of you live here. I don't know if you do. So I just wondered what your thoughts are. You're sitting there, listening to us. It was like to listen to you for a second.
Generally speaking, it would probably be really inappropriate for the commissioners or I to express a personal opinion at this point in time. I will say this to you so you understand. Commissioners don't have the ability, the authority to say you can't do this in this county. So the ordinance that's been drafted is very comprehensive. I was tasked with that responsibility. It was patterned after other ordinances that have already been passed. It, I believe, walks that line between appropriately governing the use of these facilities without being exclusive. Commissioners can't say you can't do it. They can pass an ordinance that governs what they do, when they do it, how they do it. So it would be inappropriate for the commissioners to express a personal opinion one way or the other right now. They have to, I drafted this thing, they have to decide whether they're going to pass it or not.
Who's going to decide to pass it or not?
The commissioners.
The commission. So once we elect the commissioners, we're done with the deal. We just go home. We're here for nothing.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to confuse you. Commissioners have to decide whether the ordinance gets enacted or not.
Not the project itself.
No.
The ordinance.
But no people get to vote on this, per se. We voted you people in, you decide for it. I'm not 100% sure that that's correct. Right.
I think that, like, to Ron's point, is that you have an ordinance, but how that ordinance is written for or against how easy it is for this company to get this done, right? The ordinance can be made to be very lenient for them to easily obtain their permits to go forward, or very restrictive. So, if you're against it, you would make it extremely difficult. If you're for it, you're gonna make it easier, correct? You're gonna pass it way. You're not gonna tell them yes or no, but if you're for it, you're gonna make it easy for these people to get what they want. Or you're gonna write that ordinance as strictly as you possibly legally can to prevent them from doing this in this county.
And that ordinance is already drafted, that's
Right.
what's up.
But it can be changed because it's
They
not,
can,
it's
that's,
not
yeah, yep. That's what we're looking for public comment from here.
public to say no.
And I would suggest to you that this is a very comprehensive ordinance.
I
would say that.
I haven't had the opportunity to read it in its entirety. More would happen, it makes sense to me probably, but I would hope that you're against it. You would make sure that that ordinance is gonna make it as hard as possible on these people to obtain the necessary requirements they need to go forward.
I think what's nice, is there's already some municipalities, Hamlin Township, where I reside, has their ordinance. Keating Township has their ordinance. Norwich is working, I don't know if they voted on it yet or not.
Yeah, Norwich has an ordinance for the wind turbine.
They did vote on it?
Yes.
So the municipalities are taking that stand as well. So,
Excellent.
I've already given up my time, but can I ask a question?
Yeah.
If that big company got their money from the state, they've already sold out the timber all over where I live. So, how? What do you say? Anyways, how come they got control of everything when they're using Pennsylvania's money to buy the place? And we're Pennsylvania. That company don't own the ground. They don't own the ground until the debt's paid off. So how can they say what they wanna do with it until it's theirs? That's my question.
I can answer that.
yes.
You want me to?
I can't go and tell a neighbor, I'm gonna cut your timber off your ground. You got, someday you'll get your money back for it.
It's just like buying any other property. When you take a loan for the property, you actually own the property, you just owe the debt back, and whoever you borrow the money from has an interest in the property.
They've already sold millions of dollars in timber down over where I live, that they should have had to reimburse somebody for. They didn't own it, the state owned it. Is it true that the state ganglands have turned these people down?
Yes. They're banned.
So if they have, what was their reasoning?
And how can they?
They're Pennsylvania state owned. We own them too. I don't understand. Just don't understand.
It's all about money. It's private property.
So, my the property that the board bought. We paid for it, and
They have a legal contract that says they are the legal owners. Thanks.
I'm sorry,
No, it's okay, we're just trying to stay on topic of the public comment directly speaking towards the WID ordinance, so that we can take into consideration everybody's remarks and comments. That is just why we're trying to stay on that objective, that's all. We're not trying to ignore any specific questions or anything like that. Does anyone else like to stand and speak?
What?
when will you vote?
So the ordinance, the way the process works, is you have to have a public hearing, which was scheduled 30 days ago, and then we put another notice 7 days ago in for today. If there was no corrections made to the proposed ordinance, it would go to the next Board of Commissioners meeting, to which the commissioners would then have a discussion at an open public meeting on their votes. They could not do that right now. But that is when it would be voted on if there was no changes. If there was suggested changes based on the public comment, we would actually have to do this whole process again. We would have to do another 30-day notice, another 7-day notice to have another public hearing, allowing everyone to give their input on any changes that were made. So if there was no changes made based on the comments that were received today, it would either go to, because I do the agenda for the commissioners' meetings, it would either go to October 14th to be discussed amongst the Board of Commissioners on whether they are going to motion to approve or deny, or it would even be tabled, or it could go to a later meeting depending on the amount of comments that you receive.
When will that be decided? When will you decide whether to change the ordinance as it sits, or just let it go through?
Once we have everybody's input, so we have, people's input tonight, there's people who have submitted input via the phone. I think Sean got a bunch of phone calls today. So we have to go through all that, make sure that there's no changes that are indicated.
Everybody
vote to change it, like Sean said, then we have to go through.
Yes, I understand.
Yeah, everybody individually at this table will have to review just about every comment that was made tonight. The best we can, obviously. You can't remember every single remark that's made. And take all of the comments that were received tonight. Tony, our solicitor, from a legal perspective, will be like, oh, maybe we forgot something on the legal, and if we had to make those changes, we would go through it again. Our planning director, Rick Fry, who's a part of the planning commission, would also look at it from that perspective. And each individual commissioner will be looking at it from their perspective. So I can't say exactly when it's going to be decided on, because we still have to get through this. We have to get through this public
Right.
hearing first. Yeah, it could be as early as Tuesday.
I just have a question. This ordinance that we're discussing and that you people have come up with, is it the best so far that would supersede anything that the wind company has come up with or will come up with in order to circumvent anything that's in the ordinance that you're discussing? In other words, will that, to the best of your knowledge, hold them up for now, or how far down the road before something else comes up that is not covered in that ordinance? I'm Dave Noble, by the way, a resident of Smithport. That's my question.
And other things, I know a lot of people don't like to speak in front of a group like this. If you have comments, feel free to write them down, email them to us, drop them off in the mail. Any way you feel comfortable getting them to us.
Thank you.
So Dave, to answer your question,
Yes, please do.
Kind of broadly, we have looked at multiple ordinances, and we've gone through like each section. So we think that the ordinance is pretty inclusive.
Okay, that was my,
So,
all right, that was my point, like, where did all the information come to you people for you to draft this?
hours and hours
From other entities like this across the country, then basically. Okay,
Yep.
No problem.
all right,
We've done work.
okay, hey, that's all I want to know. Nobody's really said anything about that. I'm just curious as to where it all actually came from.
I've read dozens and dozens of ordinances, and this is kind of an amalgamation of everything that I've seen. So, it's, you know, well-researched.
Okay, thank you for that. I just didn't know. That was my question.
And both within the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania and outside of Pennsylvania, because this is a nationwide thing, I've looked at more ordinances than I care to repeat at this point again. So.
Okay.
There's a gentleman back here that wants to do public comment.
Dave O'Carroll, read through the ordinance quick a little bit. Is this just the wind ordinance, or is it the wind and solar?
This is just wind.
Just wind.
Working on solar now.